all you need to know. The Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business. Good morning. You're listening to the Daily Morning Update from Bloomberg Quint and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 9th of October. Let's talk about the news from back home first. Maruti Suzuki India has cut production by a little over 17% in September, making it the 8th straight month when it has lowered its output. The company produced a total of 1.3 lakh units in September as against 1.6 lakh in the same month a year ago. Meanwhile, Tata Motors has not produced a single unit of its entry-level car Nano in the first 9 months of 2019 and sold just one unit in February in the domestic market. It is yet to officially announce that the model has been discontinued, but the writing is clearly on the wall. The Supreme Court has dismissed the Oil Ministry's petition against an order seeking disclosure of documents that formed the basis for the levy of a $3 billion penalty on Reliance Industries over KG-D6 natural gas output not matching targets. A 3-member international arbitration panel hearing Reliance and its partner BP PLC's challenge to the government's penalty has asked the ministry to share an array of documents. Mobile tower installations have reached only 60% of intended target of 1 lakh towers annually, mainly due to delays in permissions from local authorities and other structural issues, according to the Cellular Operators Association of India. In international news, the Trump administration is slapping visa bans on Chinese officials linked to the mass detention of Muslim Uyghurs in the Xinjiang province of China. It's the latest in an escalating series of U.S. steps to pressure China over what Secretary of State Michael Pompeo has called the stain of the century. The news rattled American equity investors who were already on edge over signs that tensions between the two countries are rising ahead of potential trade talks, with the S&P 500 tumbling by almost 1.6% overnight. China has said stay tuned for retaliation over that development. Asian stocks dropped this morning, understandably so, but declines were more modest than those in the US. Some more international news for you. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has said that the central bank will resume purchases of Treasury securities in an effort to avoid a repeat of recent turmoil in money markets, while leaving his options open on interest rates weeks ahead of policymakers' next meeting. He suggested that the purchases would be made up of Treasury bills and stressed that the buying should not be seen as a return of the crisis-era quantitative easing programs that the Fed engaged in a decade ago to boost the economy. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres warned that the global body is facing its worst cash crisis in about a decade and runs the risk of defaulting on payments to staff and vendors. Many members are behind on their payments, forcing the UN to cut back on travel, purchases of goods and services, and conferences. This year, 129 of the UN's member states have paid $2 billion towards the organization's 2019 regular budget, but about $1.4 billion remains outstanding. And there are some notable mentions in the 64 nations that have yet to pay the 2019 dues. Some of these are Argentina, South Korea, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Senegal, and the United States. And finally, Michael Mayer and Didier Queloz of Switzerland and James Peebles of Canada were awarded the 2019 Nobel Prize in Physics for contributions to our understanding of the evolution of the universe and the Earth's place in the cosmos. With that, it's over to Darshan Mehta for the trade setup for the day in India. Morning, Darshan. How are we looking this Wednesday morning?
Hi Alex, good morning everyone. Global cues don't look good at this point of time. The US markets were down almost 300 points yesterday, even though Asia is starting weak, but the SGX Nifty is indicating a 20-point gap up. Remember, we were shut yesterday, the SGX was down 65 points, so technically we will have a gap down opening if it persists at the same level. Now, a couple of stocks that we need to watch out for. The earnings season starts. Goa Carbon will be the first company that will report numbers today, so watch out for that one. Aurobindo Pharma post-market said that none of the 7 observations in the Form 483 are related to data integrity. The company is confident of addressing them within the stipulated timeline. Now, 4-5 reports have come out. Citi is saying that the stock reaction is overdone, though the overhang will persist. Edelweiss is saying that the observations look a little serious in nature. MK is saying that the market seems to be pricing in the worst case. Goldman Sachs says that their scenario analysis suggested that the stock movement is overdone, and even JP Morgan says that the risk reward is now favorable at the current level. The other counter that you need to watch out for today will be Titan, which probably will react negatively. The jewelry division witnessed a fall in sales in the second quarter update that they provided, and that was due to a sudden surge in gold prices. Weak consumer demand also led to moderation in growth for the watches division to 7% for the second quarter. Eyewear division was strong. That grew 28%, but that was on the back of promotion. Citi has downgraded the stock to a neutral, but raised the target price to 1370 from the earlier 1175, and HSBC has also cut the target price to 1410 from the earlier 1450. Tata Motors will be in focus. The Jaguar September sales are down 15%. Land Rover September sales are up 7%. The management says that China sales continue to recover in the September quarter. PI Industry launches a new product under the herbicide segment to control pest of wheat crops, and that is for the domestic markets. Lakshmi Vilas Bank will be in focus, and indirectly again Indiabulls Housing. Talwalkar Health has defaulted on payments of 2.3 crores of interest on the borrowing of 463 crores. Minda Industries will acquire 100% stake of Delvis Group, which is engaged in the automotive lighting design and engineering, for 21 million euros. That is close to 165 crores. And Indiabulls Real Estate and Indiabulls Ventures will consider buyback of equity shares on October 11th. But there's much more you need to know before trade actually starts. For that, log on to our website bloombergquint.com and click on the All You Need to Know tab, and you will be prepared for morning trade.
Thanks, Darshan. Well, that's all we have for you on this podcast, but as always, there's more on the website bloombergquint.com, so don't forget to check it out over the course of the day. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.